Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we will be looking at why I think Brad talked about the stolen watch during his interview, and Mark Williams Thomas must have at least some information that we don't know about. Also, I want to take a look at another video from Lil Miss Vodka on TikTok because she makes some interesting points. So the first thing that we are going to look at is why I think Brad talked about the stolen watch in his interview, but it was cut out.
With people we already knew, and he's ended up back with them on his own. I don't know what's going on there, and he's gone off, done what he done. And he rang me halfway up, going to their house. I'm staying here, I'll be back the next day. So I just thought I was going to be home the next day. And then, obviously, as you know, when he's been walking home, he's rang me walking down the mountain up there, and he just goes, "I'm walking home." He didn't seem concerned on the phone until we knew how far away we were. I said, "Put your location on." He said, an 50-minute drive or a 14-hour walk.
Jay's other
So Brad says that everyone split up and Jay somehow ended up with Ayub and Rocky on his own. But Ayub says that Lucy and Brandon left, and then Jay gave Brad the key, then Brad left. So how does Brad not know what happened or how they all split up? Either he doesn't want to say that he left Jay on his own, or something else happened and nothing Brad is telling us is the truth. Brad then says that Jay went off and done something before going back to the Airbnb. So what did Jay do? Because the way Brad says this makes me think that he is speaking about the stolen watch, because that's the only thing that could have happened. But I don't think Jay stole the watch. I think he was with the people who did it. But the problem here is that apparently this interview was 15 minutes long, but was cut down to about 3 or 4 minutes max, and they did the interview twice. So I do think that the stolen watch was talked about, but was cut out of the interview, and that's what Brad is referencing when he says that Jay done something before going back to the Airbnb. Also, Jay apparently called Brad while he was on his way to the Airbnb. So that's another phone call to add to the list, because whatever happened with the fight and stolen watch, and if Jay, Ayub, and Rocky were involved, then Jay probably would have told Brad while he was on his way to the Airbnb. So, I believe Jay said more to Brad than what we have been told, and this is just in this phone call, not the one that apparently happened after Jay left the Airbnb. Also, if Jay did send this Snapchat to his friends while he was in the car, then it would be interesting to know if this phone call happened after the Snapchat picture was sent or before. Because if the Snapchat picture was sent after he spoke to Brad, that could mean that Brad spoke to Jay last, and the Snapchat picture could have been fabricated. But if it is Jay in the picture, and he did send this himself, and it was before he spoke to Brad in the car, then it would confirm if Jay was all right when this Snapchat picture was taken. The next thing that we are going to look at is Lil Miss Vodka's TikTok video.
Until this point, I didn't think anyone was lying, okay? I don't think the family are involved. However, I'm now starting to think that friends could be covering up. Just a theory, just an opinion, nothing factual. But now that it's come out that there was a fight outside the club over a Rolex watch, the Snapchat of him at the apartment, is that real? The phone call of him up in the mountains, is that real? Because think about it, the phone call and the Snapchat are the only things that are actually making us think he was there. And yes, there is an Airbnb woman that said she saw him, but she seems sketchy as well. Yeah, I don't know. And it's the fact that the dogs didn't even pick up his scent, even though he was sliding down the terrain, apparently. The two phone calls don't add up. One, he was laughing and having a good time and not bothered, and then minutes later, he's suddenly thirsty, cactus has got his leg, and he's in the middle of nowhere and stuck. Two, she said that Jay called her when she clearly called him. And I'm not being funny. A lot of the times you know that what your friend's passcode is on their phone. Yeah, a lot of things are just not adding up for me. It's all too suspicious. I mean, everything so far pointing him to that apartment is all being information from the friends. Oh, we've seen him get in a car with two guys that went to the festival. By the way, they didn't go to the festival, they didn't have tickets. The guys did not have tickets, yet they saw him get into a car with two guys from the festival. Okay. What else? Oh yeah, he was Snapchatting, he seemed fine at the Airbnb. What else? The phone calls. Oh yeah, he was okay. Yeah, nothing happened. Yeah, he was on the phone calls, seemed to be walking down the road. The only thing I can't put my head around though, if they were lying, is how would they know about this Airbnb and why would they say that he went back to this Airbnb? I mean, obviously it could have been a plan to get him as far away from the club as possible, so he just looks like he got lost in the mountains, but how would they know about the two men that were staying in the Airbnb, etc.? Also, I'm not being funny, but anyone could have put his clothes on and spoke to the Airbnb woman.
So there are some very good points made in this video, and I think we can all agree that if we listed all the inconsistencies and lies that are involved in this case, then you could have wrote a whole book. The amount of times we have said that something doesn't add up is unbelievable. That's why it's so important to keep going. I believe we have found out more information because we keep pushing for it, and we are getting somewhere near the truth. The last thing that we are going to look at is the fact that Mark Williams Thomas must know some information that hasn't been released, and hopefully he releases all the interviews that he has apparently done. But in this article, it talks about how Mark says that he doesn't believe he has been told the exact truth by everyone due to their involvement in criminal activity. And if Mark did speak to everyone except Rocky, then he will have some information from Brandon, which will be interesting to hear, and also what Lucy and Brad had to say, because they told everyone different stories, which left most of us confused. Not one person has got their story straight in this case, and there is a lie around every corner. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and we will update you as we find out more.